Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Indonesia Confidential podcast. My name is Iden. I'm joined here by Dustin Elliott, Christopher Elliott, and Aaron Elliott. How are you all doing? Aaron, you didn't partake in the acapella. Why?
I forgot. A lot of stuff happened to me today. I feel like I'm jaded now.
How about we talk about that?
Yeah, we should. What did we do today, Aaron?
Well, we decided on this fateful day
Oh, God, you're so
that we were going to go surfing. I know.
Yes,
horrible
we should say we're in Bali.
Bali.
Bali,
We are
Indonesia.
still in Bali.
And we haven't left
Bali.
yet. And today was the day that Dustin talked us into going surfing.
Yes.
And surf we did. So we got a lesson and we rented a board, and then what happened?
Well, Dustin, you had a good experience. Why don't you say?
Yeah, we should start with a positive
Yeah,
experience.
so I went out for 2 hours with an instructor, and he was great. So if you ever want to go surfing here, it is some of the best waves in the world, and the surf instructors are very, very friendly, and it's very safe. I mean, there's not tiger shark maulings and chompings. It's reef sharks and what are the other sharks? Lemon sharks, I think. One of those sharks. But either way, I don't know much about the ocean, but I decided I was going to go out there, and I had a great experience. It was 2 hours, and also too, if you're weak in the upper body and core, it's a great workout for that whole area of your body. So I'm going to sleep very well tonight. I was really tired, and I really enjoyed myself, and it was cheap. I mean, honestly, to get surf lessons for 2 hours, it's around
$23.
Okay, so that's not bad. I think that's way more in other places. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah.
But we only had enough cash to cover one lesson, and then we had enough for a rental. So Aaron and I decided we were going to watch you, and then we were going to take the board out on our own. We were pretty confident that we could do it.
Yeah.
So we get out there, and actually we only had one board. So Aaron took the board out. You guys were out by the waves, and I swam out.
Chris is an excellent swimmer. In case the listeners here don't know, he's a really good swimmer.
Imagine him swimming in water right now.
Anyway, we get out there, and when I get out, I look over at Aaron, and Aaron says, "I'm really tired. I'm going to go back." So Aaron, why don't you pick it up from there?
Oh, gosh. Why? So, surfing is hard. And,
Yes.
there's only one person that has enough attention for one person. So, with the surf instructor, I don't know. So, I didn't get any attention. I was really battling the waves, and I couldn't get over them. I got knocked down like 3 times, and I was just like, I'm running out of energy. Like, I'm using up all my adrenaline here, just so that way after I get wiped out, I can just get back on the board, and then after that I just get battered again.
Yeah. Aaron was in what they call the whitewash or the danger zone, where you keep getting pummeled over and over and over again. And with these long foam boards that they have for the beginners there, you can't duck dive with them. You can only go over the waves, and if the waves are too big, they take you.
Yeah.
That brings us to this week's question, which is, have you ever done something on vacation that you regretted? Because I think that probably even though we are grateful for the experience of surfing in Bali, I think that we maybe wouldn't have done it at least the same way that we did it. So possibly. Let's talk about Bali, because we have had a fascinating week here. We've all done our own thing. Dustin, you've been hanging out at the beach a lot. Aaron and I have been looking at hotels, and Iden went on one of the hotels, and then you stayed here too.
Bulgari was quite interesting.
Yeah. So what have you guys been doing?
We went to Bulgari Hotel.
Okay, that was, earlier this week we went to the most expensive hotel in Southeast Asia.
Oh, there we go.
$5,000 a night for their base room.
And before 2020, it was half of that.
Yeah, they doubled their rooms after the pandemic. And it is the most beautiful hotel that I've ever seen, I think. And you guys would probably agree with this.
And they have their own little, what is it called? The trains that go up the sides of mountains?
They have a funicular.
Funicular.
Yeah.
Funicular. Yeah, they had their own funicular that went down the side of a cliff to a private beach, or as private of a beach as you can get, because technically in Bali you can't own beaches for hotels and stuff. They were telling us about that on the way down.
Yeah, but they do have a private beach.
It's the only beach where there's like rocks on both
Yeah,
sides.
so you can't
Nobody
really access
can get to it unless you're staying.
You can't even dock a boat there.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's describe the Bulgari, because I think that we can post a photo, and we will. But what does it look like?
It is possibly the most beautiful hotel that I think I've ever seen.
It's like these beautiful kind of thatched roof villas. No, they're not really thatched roof, but they're in that style, a Balinese style, and they're just so beautiful. You walk down there, and everything is very quiet, very private.
Yeah.
Everything is understated.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing that I found was that Bulgari is, of course, a jewelry company, and so they wanted it to be a jewelry company that inspired a hotel as opposed to a hotel that carries the name Bulgari. So everything is beautiful yet functional. It's very Italian.
Yeah. I mean, really have nothing more to say other than the Bulgari is a very beautiful hotel. And that's just the thing is, you're sort of at a loss of words. If you decide to go there, you'll be at a loss of words, because it really is it's an incredible experience. From the moment that you get to the check-in, I don't know what they call that, but
that's the reception area.
The reception area is not a normal reception area. You get this amazing view. It's just beautiful every step of the way. Yeah. And there's never a point where you're like, oh, that doesn't look that great.
Now, we did another hotel called the Indigo, a little closer to here in what part of town that was?
Seminyak,
thanks. And that's more on the beach. It's also a luxury hotel. It's more traditional hotel, so it does have villas, but it also has hotel rooms. And that was more of a foodie attraction for us. They had a lot of, the big breakfast.
I wanted to say this about the restaurants, is I thought they had a really creative cafe where we got this one avocado latte, which
that was good.
Really, really good. And they roast their own beans there. And
yeah, it is the only 5-star Indigo property. So Indigo is owned by IHG, Intercontinental Hotels, and they're usually more 4-star urban properties. This is their very first, and it's very Balinese. When you walk in there, they have like those big fans that you see. They're like thatched fans almost. They're made out of bamboo, I think.
Now, I've always wondered, what does 5-star mean?
Oh no, let's not even go there. Yeah. No.
What is that? What's the definition of 5-star?
It's just it's a high-end luxury experience.
So let's say I'm going to the Radisson Blu in downtown Minneapolis. What's the rating of that?
That could be a 5-star hotel. It's pretty upscale, but it more likely is like an urban 4-star experience.
Now let's say I go down the street to the Days Inn, where they have I don't know, 6 meals out front. That would probably be a 2-star.
Not a 5-star experience.
Just 2 blocks down. Just 2 blocks down.
How about the Hilton in O'Hare Airport? What's that?
That would probably be like a 3 or a 4-star maybe.
Ooh, you know what?
Well, the Hilton, maybe a 4-star. Our last property of the week was the Viceroy Bali, which is in Ubud, and only Aren and I went to that one. Took some pictures. And we had, it was also a 5-star experience.
Yeah.
It looked like kind of what you'd imagine Vietnam to look like, with a big kind of tropical foliage.
Yeah. It was kind of like the Solshine.
Yeah, I was waiting for the fighter jets from Apocalypse Now to come swooping down,
I think from my impressions, it was very much on par with, it was sort of a Disney-like experience, but it was also a 5-star hotel.
Yeah.
And so it paid a lot of attention to details, and it felt like everything was themed. Even when you went into your hotel, sometimes they were using those thatch roofs, unironically. So it could,
Yeah.
you had to replace them every year.
No, sometimes 4 times a year they had to replace those.
What are
times a
those?
year.
What are
Because
thatch
it
roofs?
rains.
So when you go by those temples and they have that thatch at the very top, that's the same thatch roofs that they would use.
So is it like hay roofs?
Yes, hay.
Yeah,
It's like hay.
It's
they're
tarred.
gonna-
It's tarred, right?
Yeah, they're going to
Yeah.
replace those because they're very impractical for a hotel to have.
Yeah, and they have to replace them all the time.
But this was the first hotel where we actually got to meet the owner. She was just sitting there, and we walked in there, and she greeted us and said hello. And very nice Australian lady, and she was very interested in what we were doing. And then we got a nice tour of the hotel. For me, it was a beautiful hotel, also very luxury. And then we had lunch. They said we'd like for you to experience lunch, and that was an hour and a half, something like 7 courses, I want to say.
It was nine courses.
9 courses.
Yeah,
I
it was a
lost
crazy,
count.
one of those crazy shishi experiences. It was not like just, oh, give us a burger, yeah,
Yeah, we'll grab something on the way out, huh?
Yeah.
yeah.
Pizza?
No.
You want a pizza?
It was very So that was. If you want to go and have a culinary experience, I can definitely recommend that hotel because they really they try very hard to give you some. It's art basically.
That sounds really delicious.
One might say delectable.
It was well, and they have a vegetarian and a vegan menu there too. So if you have special dietary needs, they will accommodate you,
Nice.
which was really good.
Now, you said there was even a theme within the rooms. Aside from these hail roofs, what did you see within the rooms?
Oh, it was just very, very authentic Balinese in the sense that they were using as many elements from Balinese like architecture as they could.
Did they use any Australian elements?
No.
No, they wanted to do this completely Balinese, and it was. They had antique maps on the wall of Bali.
That's basically kind of like the opposite of Bulgari, because Bulgari was like, we're a little piece of Italy in other countries.
Yeah.
So we are always going Italian first, no matter where we go.
Yeah, Bulgari was that kind of understated elegance that you pay a lot of money
Yeah.
for. Yeah, I mean, right now Bulgari is the top hotel here in Bali. Although Raffles just opened, and I think we might be able to go see Raffles. I'm going to take all you guys to see Raffles.
Isn't Raffles in Las Vegas?
Raffles, we stayed at a Raffles actually in Istanbul. Remember that hotel that we stayed at where
Raffles is very high end.
it's
Raffles sounds
extremely
like-
high end, yeah.
I could have sworn there's something called Raffles in Las Vegas. I could have sworn.
Well, and that there might be, but that actually was what happened was that Raffles opened earlier this year, and then Bulgari doubled its rate because they don't want to be in the same class as Raffles. They want to be above. It's just crazy what some of these hotels are doing.
Well,
here.
you know what? I don't think Raffles could survive if they did what Bulgari did. Bulgari doubled their rates, and we were talking with the people at the hotel, and they were like, yeah, we're doing great. People are liking the new rates because of when they doubled the rates, there were less people at the hotels.
Yeah, it
but
keeps people out, yeah.
But it didn't go. But the number of people didn't cut it in half. It's because the people who were going to the hotel, they actually were willing to pay the double rate because they just wanted more attention from the staff.
Yeah, that's right. So you have Raffles basically that is giving Bulgari a run for its money, and then you have Four Seasons, which thought, well, we should have 2 hotels here, so they have 2 hotels. And they've also invited us to look to tour their hotels. So we're going to be really busy touring all kinds of Bali hotels while we're here.
Though, out of all the hotels we've been to so far, and for me it's only 2, but even so, I've noticed that the people at Bulgari pay a lot more attention to their surroundings and all of the things that are going on in terms of hotels in Bali. We were talking with them and they were saying, yeah, actually the number of hotels is increasing too quick. There's not enough infrastructure. There's already too many rooms for the number of people that are coming into the country. So even though we've positioned ourselves very nicely with our price range and the type of people that we're attracting, there's just way too many hotels being opened up, and eventually there are going to be some people that leave.
Yeah, right now Bali is undergoing a hotel boom, and
Yeah.
that's one of the stories I'm going to be working on. Really interesting stuff. Okay, our question of the week again. Have you ever done something during your travels that you have regretted? We would love to hear from you and we would love to hear your story. We usually get a lot of really great comments. Last week, I pushed the wrong button and I didn't actually send the podcast out, so people could only see it online. And so we didn't really get that many comments, I'm afraid.
I have to also mention one of my travel regrets.
Okay. Tell me your travel regret.
There's a fake website if you're trying to get a visa online for Indonesia, because you have to get a visa if you're spending over a certain amount of time. I believe it's 30 days or more. Don't go to Indonesia Visitor Visa or application.indonesiavisitor.com. It is fake. And what you do is you sign up for a visa, you pay them money, and they never send you your visa. So
I think I warned you about that one.
There's a lot of scams for visas, and so they put the one that you want to go to is Molina if you're going to get a visa for Indonesia.
And they just took your money and they're not going to give it back.
No, I have to
Credit card dispute, right?
with the bank. Yeah,
that's good. Okay, all right.
Yeah, the thing with anything with that's an ad at the top of Google really is something that you shouldn't trust. Because I feel like that. Did you get that as an ad at the top of your Google search result? Because it's very easy.
So for listeners, though, when you're trying to book to save you some money, you're trying to book something like a visa that you need. It's the first, like as you're saying, in the first search results on Google. Don't go to the first 3 or 4 that have like ads.
Yeah.
And they actually are scams.
Yeah, and I think that's something that Google should really fix because.
They're making money off of that.
I think it's an error with the formatting. I think Google really should make it clear that they're ads. Because right now, when you see an ad at the top search result for Google, it is really easy to quickly glance over and think, oh, that's a regular search result. I found myself clicking on them accidentally and realizing, oh wait, I just clicked on a scam. I gotta scroll down a little bit to get the real search result. Like Google should really be putting up the real result first, and then maybe farther below.
Just so you know, they used to do that many years ago.
Yeah, it's
Google
is problematic in many ways. I've had some discussions with them about how they are doing their searches and search algorithm and what they're displaying first. And people trust them. They shouldn't. That's just the bottom line.
I think in our lifetime, though, we'll see other companies. Hopefully, we'll see Google kind of get broken up.
Yeah, I think you're probably right.
My biggest regret through all my travels, this has happened in a couple of locations, but I oftentimes get into a bit of routine with what I eat, where I go back to the same place multiple times.
Le Bichard.
Le Bichard is a good example of this. In France, like 90% of the food I ate was from Le Bichard, and I'm surrounded by the best boulangeries, the best French food. What do you even call the French restaurants there? It's like there's probably some name for it. And I just missed out on it because I was like, ooh, delicious vegan bowl from Le Bichard. I'll just go there every single day.
Yeah, we warned you about that.
Yeah, I regret that a lot. Guys, just when you're, at the very least when you're traveling, just experiment around with the food because you're not going to be there forever. Like, I understand, in your own city that you live in, sure. But I was in France. Same with Nice, actually. I always went to the same place in Nice. In Australia, I'll give myself a break because kind of all the food there sucks. But really, if you're in a place with good food, experiment around, test all the local food. Don't just get into a routine.
In Nice, it wasn't very nice that you did that.
Yeah, Nice deserved better.
That one hurt.
Nice deserved nicer for me.
Nicer behavior.
In our last podcast, we asked, what is the most jarring switch between destinations that you've experienced? And unfortunately, I didn't send the podcast out. It just was available online. But we had one nice comment from Sheila, who said that her most surprising experience was coming to Bangkok, Thailand. She says, we arrived at the airport at 2:30 a.m. waiting to be picked up by the cruise line, and they forgot this little thing called the International Date Line. Anyway, the next day was such a culture shock. Thousands of tuk-tuks and motor scooters with 4 or 5 people on them. Chaotic, scary traffic, but the most welcoming and lovely people we've ever met. We have so much more in store for this next week. We're, I think, looking at 4 more hotels while we're here. And I think Dustin's going to try to go out and learn to surf some more.
Yes.
So we'll have more from Bali. And we didn't even talk about our musical instruments. So maybe we'll save that for next week because we have had some musical instrument adventures.
And the big statue, the big bird statue.
Oh yeah, maybe we'll check that out too.
Anyway,
Vishnu that flies on the bird statue.
We've got a lot, so don't forget to tune in next week. Thank you so much for listening to the LA Confidential podcast, and we will see you next week.
We appreciate your ears.
What?
Ciao.
We appreciate your ears.
Yeah, we appreciate your ears.